All right, so now we're on to the next section. And I'll read this because it's important. Because this is, so the resurvey that we're doing here in March is in response to a large percentage of parishioners, 70%, who in 2014 favored either upgrades to existing churches or a general move of all parishioners to the current Wrightstown church. This section here on New Church is meant to present very briefly and with pictures, basically, the notion of a new church building, which did find support among 30% of parishioners in that study. It was obviously not the top choice, but it still does behoove us to present some notions of what a new church could possibly look like. And this is important with number 3. When we don't know about something, and we can put death in here and all sorts of things, we tend to insert into our imagination the worst possible scenario. With these images that I'm going to present here, I hope to insert into parishioners' imaginations a more concrete idea of what building a new church, could lead to. So we presented ideas with upgrades, so now we do the same thing with this idea of a new church. So this is just a quick survey of four relatively new churches. They're built between 2014 and 2016. Okay, so they're pretty new churches. So the first one here is Holy Family Parish in Parish, Mississippi. Also, just as a side note, I've seen a number of, I'm not an expert in this, but it's my personal experience. I've seen a number of new churches which are horrendous. So that's why I'm putting these pictures out here. Horrendous. So these pictures are just out here to basically show that a new church can look good. Okay. All right, so this is Holy Family Parish in Mississippi. After Hurricane Katrina damaged churches along the beach, 2 parishes emerged into one to create Holy Family Parish. It's a smaller parish, serves 400 people, or seats 400. It's a pretty traditional interior. Has a cruciform plan, which is, where the church is like this. The floor plan is in the shape of a cross. Detailed woodwork, large beams, Tuscan columns. This is a place that used materials from other churches that had closed, and they had to, again, liquidate their stuff. So, okay. So this was built in 2014 at a cost of $3.5 million, 12.5 thousand square feet. So these are just pictures. And these pictures are on will be on the website, the parish website. Okay. All right. So this is St. Cecilia Parish in Wisconsin Dells. It looks to be a situation where there's a lot of growth in the area and in the parish. And then that, coupled with the age and condition of the former church building, just prompted the construction of a new church building. Completed in 2016 at a cost of $11.5 million. If you look on page 17, I put this on because I thought it was interesting. Page 17 has the image of the new church and then the image of the old church. And how they really tried to capture the spirit of the old church and the new one. So I just thought that was interesting to know. You know, it doesn't look like a new church. It looks like an old church. You okay, Marianne? I've yet to see a music area that looks neat. So, lots of detail, lots of just, again, hearkening back to our topic number 2, you know, about the richness of God, which is of heaven, all that God has to offer us. But you can see why that one costs $11.5 million. Church C is St. Mary Magdalene in Flint, Texas. It's actually a complex that includes the church, classrooms, offices, kitchen, meeting halls. It's a traditional Romanesque style. It's kind of basilica-like in its kind of bigness. What do we have here? Seating 850 people, which is a big church. But they have a lot of other stuff going on here too. Family Life Center. Makes me think a little bit of like Alliance, Appleton Alliance, you know, where they have like everything there. You know, coffee shop, gym, park, basketball court. You know, everything. Anyway, so theirs was. How much was theirs? I guess I don't have that price on this one. Anyway, that's not fun. Yeah, I don't know. So it's fairly, I don't know, it's fairly traditional in the, you know, the courtyard idea that's very monastic-like. You know, place of prayer. That's the only photo I could find of it. It's a complex, but you know, it's obviously a place of prayer.
That looks like a prison.
Okay, and then the last one here is St. Mary Parish in Joplin, Missouri. It was one of those churches destroyed. Were those tornadoes that destroyed those tornadoes? So it just demolished the building. So they had to build a new church, 13,000 square feet, seats 750 people. It also has a school as well. So the entire thing was 12 million. It's kind of a blend of classic and modern. These ribbed details here, that is on these arches. That's more of a Byzantine style. That kind of pattern. Nice woodwork. That one I like. And they have their sculpture. Okay, so I just wanted to throw out some images to not feed the imagination, but to fill in a hole as far as, again, I think that if we don't know something, we fill in the worst possible thing. So these are, not to say that there aren't some weird looking new churches, but these are some ones that I liked. Okay. All right, page 20. These are other facilities. The existing parish center. This is not. No decisions have been made here. But at a minimal cost, of $131,000. Personally, I would raise it. There's been suggestions about renting it and that sort of thing, but I don't know that we would recover in rental revenue what we'd have to expend in those really, really, really basic upgrades, just to make the building solid. So anyway, so that's kind of how I would approach that building. I would just raise it. The existing rectory, I would just leave it as is. It works fine. The large, now we're to Askeaton. The large school, this building will probably be raised, mainly due to its condition. And Kay was saying that some of the area fire departments are interested in using it for training.
Right.
And they would take out the asbestos?
They would help us with the asbestos removal, so we wouldn't have that expense, which is a huge portion of the expense.
Yeah, what was our expense here? Was that like
$12,000.
$12,000 to remove the asbestos here? So.
And that was very minimal because the rectory had been done earlier.
Okay. And then the small school seems to be in generally okay condition except for those cracks in the wall. That's cool. It's used to store cemetery equipment as well as parish kitchen supplies. Plus, it also seems to have historic value as one of the school houses as well. So, I guess I wouldn't plan on raising it. I would just keep it. And then the rectory in the house there in Askeaton, again, is well maintained. It's currently rental property, providing some revenue to the parish. Should it cease to be a rental, it, along with the whole campus, perhaps could be considered for use as a parish-sponsored retreat center, which could provide further revenue to the parish, as well as spiritual service to the wider, community of the faithful. So, as far as that buildings go, there's no real plan to get rid of it. All right, and then F is the St. Clare School building, which we'll discuss in topic 4. Okay. Oops. Okay, a note on building new. I thought I'd just throw this in here. Should the parish community decide, conclusively with a 66 supermajority of surveys, that building a new church would be the preferred path, should that happen, further discussion would be needed regarding the future of the current buildings. Okay, we haven't really had that discussion. But I do say, however, it could be stated that if a new church was to be built, I would hope to include as much of our existing buildings as we could into them. Architecture, art, furnishings, etc. That would be my hope. So the churches wouldn't stand empty, but they'd be heavily taken from. Hopefully to the point that there wouldn't be much left except the basic structure. So that's about all I can really say on that, because we haven't discussed that in any detail. But again, that's a big should. Should the community decide that. Okay. All right, so now we go back, now we're at the page 21. All right, we have reached that. So there's our approximate costs again. I threw on here the new parish center, which we'll talk about next time in the topic 4. That we gave the architect kind of a limit of around $3.5 million. Okay, so we didn't give him a blank check. And then these other two figures are, again, sort of educated guesses. What would a new school cost? maybe 3 million. And then the new church, I don't know, 3 million. The one that was in Mississippi, that new church in Mississippi, it was like 3.5 million, but that also included all the offices and everything else in there, which, if that makes sense.
They don't have basements either, do they? They're below sea level. They either have indoor pools or no basement. So that would be additional.
Okay, so, but we'll talk about those last three, the new parish center and new school, topic 4, okay? So then here, I just put together 3 scenarios. One would be to upgrade the existing churches and then to build the new parish center. Maybe 5 million. That includes the churches, those, should I write this down? The structural and all the upgrades, okay? Plus the parish center plus school minimum improvements, so that puts us at 5 million-ish. Okay. It's not an exact figure, but it gets you in the ballpark. It's okay. Scenario 2 would be to upgrade, to do the same thing, but to build also a new St. Clare school at the same time as the parish center. So we're looking at maybe 8 million there. Again, I don't have a cost on the school, so it's... And then scenario 3 would be to build all new. New parish center, new school, new church, 9.5. Or without the new school, but minimum improvements to the existing school, maybe 6 or 7 million. Okay. So, and then I have that little note there too. Each scenario has additional costs related to the raising of the existing parish center in Greenleaf, the raising of a large school in Askeaton. Additionally, should the parish decide to build a new school for St. Clare, there would be a revenue from the sale of the school on this side. Okay. So the next topic, topic 4, is the new parish center. We'll be looking at architectural drawings, elevational drawings, a little bit about money, but then we'll revisit these scenarios again at the next time. Okay. Does anybody have any last things? Otherwise, we'll just pray.
I think it's important to recognize the energy and effort Father put forward, trying to provide us with as much detail as you can put your arms around. So when we get to that phase of the survey, we're now informed. We have maybe not accurate numbers, but some ideas and thoughts, and I think the response will change based on being more educated. And I also think based on your leadership. So thank you for all your work.
Sure. Yeah, and I'll say, too that I've said it before, and I'll probably have to say it a few more times, that my past is not in St. Clare, and I'm pretty sure I'll be moved at some point. So I care about the decision, but at the same time, I don't. So whatever the parish wants to do, fine. So I'm not. Thanks. Huh? Thanks. Yeah. I mean, to me, the more important thing is this stuff. Is the informing the parish as best we can. So the decision is a good one. To me, that's the more important thing. Whether it's upgrading or building, to me, that's a parish decision. It doesn't even feel like it's my decision, really. To me, that's what the people want to do. So I'll just say that. Okay. I care, but I care more about what you want than what I want. How's that? Yeah.
In the new proposals in all 3 churches, you show the baptismal font being in the center approximately of the church. Why? Because in the new pictures that you showed of the other areas of the new churches or whatever have you, I didn't see them stuck in the middle of the aisle.
Those images didn't go. I didn't take them back. I didn't take them far enough back to get them in that image. Those were more just purely looking at the sanctuary. They weren't necessarily looking at the whole church. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Another quick question. Why is it when it seems like when you're dealing with anything religious, whether it be a statue, renovation, repair of a window, it's like a government project. The prices are inflated like you can't believe. Are we dealing with a $50 hammer and a $300 toilet seat?
I don't get the impression, no.
Seems excessive numbers to me.
Well, it's a lot, well, I don't know. I mean, to me, when I look at this, to me, it's a lot of little things that add up. That's kind of how it.
Father, being on the finance committee, I can say whenever we have any expense, we really drill down after it. We'll get multiple bids, we get competitive bids. We do the best we can with the people we have on the committee, and Kay does a good job of really searching it out. So I think these are just kind of give, kind of a range, an idea, comparative range. I don't think the accuracy is here as Father mentioned.
And we do have to keep it in perspective. If we're going to repair something in our house, it will never be as large a scale as repairing something in a church.
Do you have any idea what each one of us, for tax purposes or whatever, our residence or whatever property, there's an assessed value. What is the assessed value of all three places?
We haven't.
You're not going to stick $500,000 in when it's only assessed at maybe $650 or $700.
Right, and that, you bring up a very good point, but I don't think our parish is at that point yet. Father really wants to take a pulse and see where you guys are, what you guys want. Like he said, this is a parish decision. Our job, like Rick on Finance Council, Tara on Parish Council, Father as our leader, is just trying to get all the information we can out to everybody to help you make an informed decision. Instead of handing you a card and say, here, take a guess, what do you want?
But we have done surveys so many times,
But-
and never do anything.
But have you ever had a priest really educate you? Why do we do this liturgically? Why would we want to do that? And has it ever been taken to that level?
No.
I will also, just with Lois there, I'll also say, like I just said, it doesn't, I don't know how to say it. I don't have a vested interest in the outcome of the survey.
Well, one of the reasons.
I'm not looking for a particular outcome.
One of
So,
the reasons we're redoing the survey is so few were actually turned in last time. It was, the numbers were so low that of the amount of people that we were actually hearing
So
from.
is everybody going to get a survey?
Yes. But we discussed at the joint meeting between the finance and the parish council that instead of just sending out a blanket survey that we wanted to bring some sort of education as to, what the plans are and everything else, so that when the surveys come out, it's not, well, I'm not sure what they're talking about here. So people are not voting or whatever. And so, that was part of the reason that we voted both of these to redo the surveys, because how many surveys did we get back on that last one in 2014?
687?
And how many registered families do we have?
1100?
Yeah.
Well, that's 600.
To get the survey?
No, I think they were mailed, those last surveys. Well, that's the
If you didn't
thing.
show up at church, you didn't get a survey.
But we
No, no,
can't
no.
make people show up to vote for president either. So if they don't want to have a voice and then later on are complaining because, they didn't participate in it. This is on the website, it's in the newsletters or the bulletins for 6 weeks straight. Hopefully you guys are talking to your neighbors, or please talk to your neighbors. We want to get an actual, what people want. He's paying attention to what the old surveys were, and the old surveys are not necessarily saying the direction we were heading in, so we're trying to narrow it down.
So these are going to be sent out to everybody, is that what you said?
Father, what's the plan for those? We can hand them out on Easter, everybody's there. And they can turn them in on Christmas when they come back.
Yeah, the plan for doing the surveys hasn't changed since it was announced, whenever it was announced. They're going to be mailed with the newsletter on March 12th, okay? So you hopefully will get them that Tuesday or Wednesday. There'll be 2 surveys in there. You can either mail them back, put them in the collection basket. We'll have an online option too. I mean, we're going to try to make it as available as we can. It's been getting mailed to, the snowbirds who aren't back yet. We're trying to cover all bases, so.
I want to say one more thing too. I just got on the parish council in the last 5 months or so. And I think one of the other reasons why we're doing this is because the dynamics of the parish we felt have also changed a bit since the last time that we did the survey. Over time, things change, and I think with Father coming into our parish, there seems to be a little bit more positive energy within our parish. And I think one of the things that we wanted to do was to redo the survey, but like he said, educate everybody on what the options are. Father has made it a point to bring up a few times that he really has the best interest in this parish because he doesn't know where he's going to be, And I think that's important for everybody to understand that because, that is really what the intent is here. There's no conspiracy theory.